Sounds good.
Did you print me a hard copy?
Another one right here for you.
Thank you.
Here you are.
There you go.
There. You're good. Excuse me. You're back.
All
Had to play
right.
some Girl Scout cookies.
I think we will call the meeting to order.
Tis the season.
And we will start with roll. Kandi, Wendy's here, Tim,
Here.
Frank,
Here.
Duncan,
Here.
Ryan,
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Okay, approval of the agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll do a motion.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Approval of the previous minutes from January 27th of 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3 is the appointment of Duncan Woodhull to the board. And we have a certificate
Oh.
of appointment. It's a whole big thing now.
Oh, big
You take your picture, it's, yeah,
Oh,
quite,
big
quite welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
There you go.
You're always.
Okay, let me get that. There you go. I'll do it this way, 'cause I think that's- Okay, all right. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll move on to item 4, which is public comments, public input of non-agenda items. Is there any? No? Okay. Perfect. Moving on to item 5, reports, update from council and staff members. Are most of it on the agenda?
I say, mine are, you know, on the agenda.
On the
items,
agenda,
so
okay.
I don't have anything in
Yours
addition
as
to
well?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have much on my side either. They're
Okay.
doing the study. I think that's going a little bit further for the parks, right?
Yep,
I
yep.
haven't been involved in that meeting. I guess,
Yep.
other
This
than that.
Thursday will be a next meeting.
Yeah, and that's on the agenda, so
Yep.
we'll
Oh, it is?
review that on.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we'll move on to old business, Swenson Park update. Concession stand, charging for maintenance and business advertising via signage.
Concession stand's coming along well. It's kind of at a standstill. We'll probably get back on it either later this week or next week. All we got left is the partitions in the bathrooms. Got a little bit of trim work to do on the doors. And then plumber's got just a little bit, and electrician's got just a couple hookups to do. And concrete, guys come back in the spring here and do the concrete right away. So we should be pretty much up and ready to roll first part of April.
I love that question. Do you know if you're moving that former softball shed?
That's gonna be a decision that we'll have to talk about, yeah. It's gonna get moved somewhere, it's not gonna stay where it's at, it's gonna get moved somewhere, so, yep. You know, that was something that.
Is that at Swenson Park?
Yeah, so
today?
there was it's about a 12 by 14 shed, that was their old storage shed that was in the middle there.
Sure.
Now that we got the concession stand with the storage
The
bathrooms.
scoreboards are wired back to it too, for power, aren't they?
Yeah,
Or is it just, they're just miscellaneous?
they were just all,
Miscellaneous power in there?
just miscellaneous power, yeah.
They charged, count our remote control or something.
Yeah.
You charge the scoreboards and everything.
Yeah. So Kyle was wondering about the concessions building that was there, which the sports board or complex committee or whatever at the time, they had that moved in there, purchased it, but to basically, I would say donate it to the city for that park. They were wondering about possibly putting it down closer where they could have it for flag football and stuff like that.
Or
Yeah.
soccer, or soccer.
yeah.
They had like a, well, that's a, yard, a residential yard type container.
Well, they've got a
There's
building.
plenty of room in
Yeah,
there.
deep.
That's right, they bought that one from.
Yeah, the soccer's, yeah, the one that the soccer's using is actually still technically a school building that they use just for their soccer stuff. So we'd have that other shed there, whether, see where we want to put it in the spring, whatever.
It's on 6x6 skids.
Yeah.
Push it around.
I know we do, we budgeted money to expand the parking lot and that, so if we did that, we'd have to find a spot at that time.
Okay,
Be usable, so.
sounds good. Okay, charging for maintenance, I don't know if we have any updates on that.
Well, let's back up to, so he gave an update on the concession stand, so the RFP, so it was due this last week.
Oh, yeah.
We did not get any submittals for it.
Oh.
There was one gentleman that was interested in it, I sent it to him, didn't submit anything, I actually reached out to him, said, hey, are you interested if we extend this, or you know, if there's any accommodations? And he replied to me just this morning, said that they do concessions in Sioux Falls City, and the league that they service is expanding, so they thought about it, and they just don't think they'll be able to do both, so he's out. We did not receive any other submissions, so the question is gonna be, what do we do
Right.
going forward?
Can we open it up to groups? Like
We
different-
opened up to everybody.
Like different groups that would want to do a fundraiser? You know, like a school group or like whoever?
I mean, anybody could have applied for the RFP if they want to do it, so now it's, yeah, so the question is, do we extend that RFP for a longer date and see if, you know, directly try to contact those groups and see if they're
Right.
interested? Like I said, the sports associations, when we met with them, none of them seem interested in running the concessions. They, hard to find volunteers, whatnot, just problems that we're running into,
Everybody
so.
wants the concession stand.
Was there a
Nobody wants to work.
survey?
Yeah,
Required as part of
exactly,
the
yeah.
RFP?
I don't.
Yeah, we gotta follow the state health codes, yep, yep. Obviously with any food service, you have to. So, yeah, so you either extend the deadline some more, see if you can do some more reaching out and advertising to see if you can get anybody to submit an RFP.
How are we advertising or getting the word out on that?
So
Like-
we've just been doing, we figured only a local person would do it, so the shopping guide, the
Oh.
messenger on our website, the Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
whatnot.
so we've done all that, yeah.
Yeah, so we put it out through those.
What date do we have games or anything scheduled?
So,
Is it
when we
first
talked to
date?
kind of the associations, you know, if they were going to, they all kind of wanted someone there for their practices or games, well, really, Monday through Thursday mainly, you'll have some type of organization using it. Some Fridays, not too many, and once in a while, maybe a weekend if they get a tournament here, but it's mainly the bulk of the concessions, or games or practices were gonna be Monday through Thursday. And we kind of put that on our RFP to give the time frame for it. But it would be from spring to fall, because you know, soccer starts in spring, you got play football all the way into the fall, and, you know, softball and baseball in between there, so.
Have we started reserving fields? yet?
No, not till the beginning of March.
Till beginning March, you said?
Yeah, that's usually when we kind of look at it. You know, if we don't get anybody to run it, it's possibly a thing of, you know, pay somebody to come in and do it. That's something that has to go through the city council, where there's no funds expended for that. We'll discuss with the city council possibly hiring somebody. Probably have to be two people to split it up, but once again, that's gotta go through the council, because there's no funds budgeted for that. Or yeah, like I said, reach out to different groups or the associations again and say, hey, if you want concessions there, maybe you're gonna have to take so many times, and somebody else gonna have to take so many times or something, otherwise.
What are the health guidelines? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's kind of,
Speaking from a West Central baseball participation, I took my class, we serve no raw food, it's all pretzels, popcorn, snacks, there's no hamburgers or raw stuff, so from my understanding, you'll need a safe certification if there's no prepared food.
If you know cooking, yeah, but
That-
some
is
may
that
be
include hot
prepared. I
dogs
mean, in
too?
the
I think that's
RFP,
pretty rough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hot
so
dogs aren't
that's-
real food,
So,
That makes
so.
sense.
hot dogs, nachos, pretzels, candies, that sort of thing, it's all
yeah.
pre-prepared.
The only thing in the RFP is that you need to follow the South Dakota Health Guide.
Correct.
So if you need it, you need to get it. If you don't need it, if you serve food that doesn't
Sure,
need it,
that's
you don't need
if
to
you're
get
grilling
it.
burgers, you have to have.
yeah.
Right, if you're
That
grilling
makes sense.
burgers, you hot dogs, you will
Well,
need to do it.
If we end up having to go that route where we either have to pay somebody or we have to hire an employee, then I think then whatever we're charging them to use the field, that should go up to include that, or and to offset part of that at least.
Yeah, that's gonna be another
Yeah.
expense.
So if they want to use it and don't want to help out, then you're going to have to pay more to use the field, so we can hire somebody else to do it, I guess, would be my thought. But yeah, even if we do have that as an option, who's it gonna be? Like, somebody still has to step
Yeah,
up and
this
do
is
it.
kind of my worst fear with this is nobody
I know
to run
Humboldt
it.
hired somebody a few years, or maybe was it last year or a few years ago? They hired somebody to just run it all year, and I don't know how that went.
Yes and no, I think she does most of the management of the supplies and some scheduling, but it's still all volunteers that do it.
It's
Uh-huh.
still volunteers like the parents and whatnot that they may do.
Yeah, they've got to write a check, and if they
If you,
don't,
so you volunteer certain hours, you can take care of that.
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's just, we've gotten to the point where, like, it just, nobody wants to help, so. And I won't,
That's
I don't
everywhere,
wanna
yeah.
help either. I'm part of the problem.
Yeah.
Or are there certain 4-H or FCCLA groups that would manage it for the week and get a certain percentage of, like I said,
Yeah.
10%, something, you know, some
Like the
of
school
the weeks
does
are
that.
Yeah.
14
Probably
plus
not
a
so
table.
much.
Yeah.
School groups.
Right.
So, yeah, then you've got, if you do that where it's only certain, then the city almost has to buy the food, because what do you do if
And
there's,
manage it.
the food, city would have to, if we're gonna do
And
that,
if you
then the
got
city would
different
have to
groups
be
coming in.
responsible for the food.
Yeah, a group ain't gonna bring their food and then
No,
take it
and
out
then-
and
That's how
whatnot.
baseball
And then
works.
we'd have to have somebody from the city be supplying it.
Yep.
Managing
And
inventory.
managing, right.
Inventory and ordering
Yeah.
it and managing it.
Yeah,
That's how baseball runs. Not the fault, the management of it, yeah, there's a way that purchases it all.
yeah, but you need to have one person or
Yeah, I
whatever to
mean,
keep
that
track
was
of
the
what
intent. We
they
hope
need
one
and
person
buy.
come in, purchase
Correct.
everything,
Yeah.
take the proceeds
Start from
and
scratch-
just
start from
take
scratch
care of
and
it.
leave
Yeah, and that's not a small endeavor to go to Sam's or wherever and buy all this food
No,
and
we-
like every
We know
week.
that with our pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep up with it and,
Yep.
But if you mirrored what pool offers, as far as what you're selling.
Yeah.
Do you think you need full food there, or just like candy and chips
As
and,
a,
chips
parent
and
with 3 kids
popcorn?
playing baseball, nachos, hot dogs, pretzels
pop,
is pop and
popcorn?
candy.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be-
it.
that'd be
You
it.
don't need to be growing hamburgers, you don't need. to-
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't think so either.
And tournaments, different story, that's a whole big deal.
Right.
For an evening, something.
Just-
It is nice, because if you come straight from work and just pick them up, yeah, they
At least
need
having
to
a hot
have-
dog is
yeah,
better
or
than
something.
nothing.
Who manages the pool concessions today?
We
The
have a
city
pool
does.
manager that we hire.
Okay,
Yeah.
you hire.
We hire
someone.
the manager and the guards, yeah.
Is that like a full-time job in the summer?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is definitely a full-time job.
I would imagine.
What was our goal, I guess, with the concessions? Were we hoping to make money off of it when we first
Or,
started
yeah, or is
this
it-
conversation, or just as an offer?
I think the goal was to offer and have some concessions
Yeah.
out there because the groups wanted concessions
Right.
So we
available. They
were-
thought that would be more of a draw for tournaments and
Yep.
for people to
Right.
play games there or whatnot. I don't think we ever really talked about making
Making
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah, I
money.
don't know why people would want to, I guess. It's not gonna, it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
minimal.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to lose money doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you don't want to lose, but at the
But-
same time, I just wonder like,
Yeah.
if you could talk to the Booster Club and say, okay, this week,
It's a good idea.
the volleyball team is gonna do it, and all profits end up going to the volleyball team, and then the next week it's the soccer team, or the next week it's, you know, I wonder if we can work something like
Give
that.
them to commit to a block of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not just one day, but one block.
Yeah.
They do that for
These 2 weeks are
school
yours.
concessions?
I don't think that each team has like a flexible bank account that they just have money, they get like a budget from the school.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah,
so, and,
For
and,
Jamboree days, we get the soccer team watch our inflatables, we pay them an amount for the whole day, we just went and check the West Central Soccer, and they do what they
yeah,
pay for uniforms, or do your trips or whatever.
Right.
right.
So,
Makes you wonder if there's other like church groups too that,
But if, yeah, the,
for trips or
Yeah, you say,
things they're
You commit
fundraising
these
for.
2 weeks, here's the schedule for these 2 weeks and these times, just
Mhm.
pre-commit to a block, and say, this is yours to manage for that time and sell, and here's the requirements.
Typically, maybe, you're gonna have a full team, so you could, somebody could just work once, you know, over those 2 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, possibly even after, I'm kind of throwing this out there, but possibly even after prom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, because
Yeah.
they're already used to having to buy all the stuff. And then this way, it would give them more weeks to do it, where
Yeah.
they're normally not doing anything
Yeah,
in
the
the
summer.
summer.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't know, maybe that's a thought too. Is,
Yeah, I think-
because that, they may, because then they may just go, hey, we've also got these options, you know, you can help out during the school year, or you can help out one evening
Yep.
out at the ball fields.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
don't
just
think-
include it in their schedule for the year.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to limit it at all.
No,
Like this.
no, and they're already all set up to do the, you know, to have all of that, the food, and then they could buy all their food together, and, you know,
Yeah.
and they're already used to doing all
Or
that.
even if we do end up having to buy the food, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how we want to do that, I guess, but that would be up for discussion, I guess, but if we just, you know, buy it every 3 weeks or something and provide it, and then we say it costs this much or whatever, and take it, I don't know how much, I don't know exactly how to do that, I guess.
So how do we get in touch, or who would get in touch with Booster Club then
So,
after prom?
I know a couple, I know Zomers are,
Junior parents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can make a call. Yeah.
I
and
just
at least
wonder,
get a different-
even with
yeah,
sports groups or school groups in general, if anybody's interested in helping.
Yeah.
I think we can just get a hold of the school,
Yeah.
business
Maybe
office,
that's
and then
what
just
we
a list
do.
of contacts for the various organizations.
Right.
yeah,
Because
and maybe they can put it in the newsletter or something, or whatever, to get it out there to the different,
Pictures of fundraising activity.
the different, yeah, the
Right.
different groups or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, if we get a few of those groups in, I think, you know, I would see like, this would be a good high school summer job, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
So if we do that this year, then the next year, somebody in high school decides to go in with their friends and
Yeah, I mean,
do an
seriously.
R&B and whatever, you know, so.
Yeah.
I think you just set the minimum requirements of, you're gonna commit to this week, we'll have to schedule 2 weeks in advance, or whatever. You say, if you're committed to this, whether you have 1 game or 6, is what it is.
So it'd be something that we have a week or 2 weeks blocked off, whatever it is.
Mhm.
If group approaches us, say they want to do these 2 weeks, we write them in, and then if we have a week that's not covered, then there's no concessions that week, I guess, is that?
Yeah, or if you want a second week, you know, then.
Right, yeah, or do it by the week off, wherever you want to do
Put it out
it.
and say, we'll cover the food, split the profits, or whatever.
Right.
Easy way to make
Mhm.
$500 a week without.
I would think even if we could just get the money back for the food, would be huge.
Yeah.
I agree,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm gonna say, if we can just break even, and
Yeah.
that way it gives
Agreed.
them the incentive to come work it, because they'll make the profits, but they just need to reimburse us for the cost of food. Trouble is, how do you figure out
How much they use.
how much they
Well,
use
just-
versus
just-
the other group
You can
uses?
tally
You
it
have
on
to
the
inventory
meter,
every-
anywhere across the buck. So
Like
so
Monday
if
morning,
you
when you-
can tally what item you sold, this is a random item.
Well, would it be
40
possible
power raise, just a tick mark.
to
on the sheet.
compensate the pool manager and maybe try to manage that? Just go take the inventory and order the food. If
Is
they're
the
if they're
pool-
already doing it for the pool,
Right. Is the pool concession profitable?
Nothing at the pool is profitable.
Really?
I'm gonna be very
They
blunt.
just, they just make candy though, don't they?
They make a little bit of concession, but everything else offsets it.
Crazy
I
town.
mean-
But they do, yeah, they charge more than the cost of it.
Right.
yeah.
So is the profits from the pool offset the wages that are being, you know?
Oh, no, they don't.
No.
No, not even close.
Uh-uh.
Not even close.
So if maybe we need to also think about if we do end up having to put it out there and pay somebody, what would that be? What would that look like? How much would we pay somebody? So we probably need to start, have that in mind too, if we do have to go down
I
that
don't think you
road.
can hire anybody, if it's a high school kid, for under $15 these days, and that's probably the bare minimum.
Yeah.
In the RFP that we put out, that was basically what would you be willing to pay to run the concession stand? Maybe we need to,
Well,
Look at a
the
different
way it was
approach.
worded is that you get the profits, but would you be willing to donate a certain percentage back to the city for maintenance of the building? It could have been 1% or 0%, I mean, it did have a minimum that they need to pay back on the city.
Do we want to just extend it for a month and then
Yeah.
just
I'm
kind
gonna
of?
say, do we want to extend it for a month, and maybe in the meantime, try to get hold of the school?
Yeah,
and
I
maybe
think.
various organizations and see
Because then we'd
thoughts,
have,
and if we get any
Yeah.
interest in that.
we'd have an answer hopefully by the end of March.
Right.
I would think April, May would be when the,
And,
Thank
I
you.
mean,
and,
if it doesn't open right away, it doesn't open right away,
Right.
but I mean, we're just.
and maybe we should word it like, it doesn't have to be a group. If like a group of random juniors or seniors want to get together as a summer to make extra money in the summer or whatever, like maybe that would even work, you know? Like it maybe doesn't even need to be an organized
Do you
group.
think there needs to be an adult there, like an
Absolutely.
18-year-old?
Does the city have an age requirement on?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I don't know if we want this high school kids
Yeah.
out there, so we might have to have, yeah,
Anybody in here?
Yeah.
so. Do you want me to reach out to the school then and see if they got contacts for various groups and what groups are out there and bring that info back? And then we can advertise for another month, we'll extend it, and another deadline, and talk about it at our next meeting?
Yeah.
That we can come up with?
I think that sounds good.
Okay, that sounds like a plan, we can do that, so.
I can check. I work at the Iceplex and we run our own concession. So I can check
Oh, you
with
check-
Tanya, not Tanya, but Tanya. One of my bosses. Anyway, she just, I mean, it's crazy, but they do all their own. And all the staff is basically high school girls.
Yeah.
And there's maybe one gal in college that kind of manages.
I was gonna say, as long as you got one
I think so too.
adult,
Yeah.
18-year-old, or somebody
Yeah.
who's at least 18 overseeing it,
Yeah.
I think you can use kids.
And have
Somebody
somebody be
overseeing it.
responsible, yeah.
There's something you have to have a legal development.
And that's just it too, and yeah, that's a good thing to point out, legally for our insurance, if there's an accident, we have to have a
Yeah.
present, so.
Like the Sioux Falls Flyers, all their parents have to donate so much time to the concessions. You know that, like anybody in the Flyers organization,
Yeah.
it's a requirement.
Okay, I can work on that and see what I can get together, and then we'll just, start advertising again for another month and revisit it next month.
It's a service shift.
All right.
Keep brainstorming, no.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, for the first couple years of flag football, we had no concessions in kind. And last year, an older sister's softball team ran, just Gatorades, pop, pizza ranch pizzas in the morning, little stuff.
Oh,
That
sure.
went over extremely.
Oh, yeah, you could.
The people were just like,
could
oh,
say
thank
food
goodness, I can
workers
get a
for
soda.
business.
Right.
Or just
Yeah.
get a snack, get a
Yeah,
candy
for
bar,
sure, that would be
something.
easy.
For
School
the-
does, school
Yep.
does that too.
Yeah,
Just
and
have
just
a
see if he'd be willing to,
tote trailer.
maybe, give us a
In the
deal or
park.
whatever on them.
Yeah, I think that's just it, they just want something to grab, something when they're, like I
And
said,
then
coming after
post
work
to
and
grab
don't have
it,
time to
too.
stop.
Yeah.
Keep the little brother happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While you're dragging them to the events. Okay. All right.
Oh, wait, I had another thought, sorry.
No.
What about, I mean, if it became, because we all think it's a pain, but, you know, maybe a food truck?
The cost, that we looked into that too.
Oh,
Their cost to the end user is always so high, because they have
Yeah.
travel costs, this and that, and sure, you know, full-scale business costs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those in about.
No, I mean,
$4 sandwich.
if we advertise, hey, do you have a food truck, do you want to come in and on concessions at whatever, and, I don't know, it could be something, because they're going to manage everything, and we're
Oh, like they
just,
do
we're
for like
providing the
downtown
service of.
Hartford or the farmer's market or
We
I don't
something.
know.
did Jamboree Days, some concessions. It
Midwest
wasn't that,
concessions.
last year, year before, it had kind of a concession stand type thing, came in, set up for one of the days, it was just Friday or something.
Yeah,
I thought that would be
it'd be
it
kind
had a
of,
concession type.
For
I mean, in
farmers,
those cases, though, you're not really utilizing the building.
Backyard
Yeah.
concessions.
I know.
But at least you'd have concessions there.
Yeah.
That's the emergency backup.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For like farmer's market, do they have to pay the food vendors to come, or do they just come and you tell you they're
I don't
coming?
know. We're not part of that organization.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think the food vendors have to pay them.
Oh, they do, to
I
come?
would- Yeah, because they're,
Jamboree, they pay.
They do, they come, they pay to come out
Pay
and
for
park?
vendor spot.
Mhm,
yeah.
okay.
All right. Any more discussion on that? If not, we'll move on to the charging for maintenance.
Okay, I did finally get a hold of somebody with Dakota Alliance. They says they're willing to discuss paying a maintenance fee with us. It did not sound very promising. Basically brought up, kind of like when we met with Tim Goring, he said, all they do is they pay for games, the Sioux Falls fields, all the practices is on the teams themselves, and they mostly go to their city parks and other destinations, and they don't pay any other team or any other entity for using their fields for practices.
But they have to pay Sioux Falls?
They pay Sioux Falls for games, and the only thing with games is they pay for like the cost of the striping of it. So
Do
they
they
pay
play
so
game-
much per game.
And they
that
don't come and
covers-
play games out here, they just do
No,
practicing?
all the games are in Sioux Falls.
Yep.
And what they tell their teams, because they're from all different communities, is
Right.
you practice wherever you want it. If it's at a park in Sioux Falls, or park in Crooks, park in Hartford, you do that, but they don't pay anybody, other Crooks, any other city, even Sioux Falls, they don't pay for the practices. They just pay Sioux Falls a portion for the games for helping stripe the field.
But that also doesn't, if we're gonna make baseball and all these other teams pay, it doesn't seem fair that Dakota Alliance doesn't have to pay.
Right.
I'd almost say if we're gonna charge one, we charge everybody, and if you don't wanna pay it, then then find somewhere else to practice. I know that's
Well, I think the thing is-
kind of being a
The
jerk,
The
but.
field won't be
So
striped to your
police.
the field won't be striped to your preference then if you're not paying for it.
I'd say no,
Well,
I'd say
there's bowling
if
in
you,
the
no,
field
if
and
we're
everything
charging
else,
other
yeah.
groups, then you pay too, or else you find somewhere else.
I
I'd be mad if I was baseball and I was paying a fee and Dakota Alliance wasn't.
Does baseball play there?
No,
No.
T-Mobile does.
And we're talking about maintenance of all the fields. I mean, in baseball, it does do some of the little fields. They don't play out Swenson.
I think it'd be incredibly hard to police that if you say, well, you can't practice here. Because when Dakota Alliance signs up for coach, me and Bob sign up to be coaches, are we gonna go call the city and say, are we allowed to practice on your soccer fields that people have been practicing?
Yeah, it is gonna be hard to.
It's not gonna happen. So, either we, it's either gotta be like free or we gotta deal with it, because if we don't allow them to practice there, they're gonna go practice in the city park. We're not gonna charge them to go practice at the city park, or Turtle Creek Park, or wherever. Wherever there's open grass is where they're gonna go,
Right.
so.
I'll speak on behalf of our flag football, we're more than fine paying for striping.
Yep,
Just because
and
we've
we
been
talked,
striped uniquely in some areas and all over the place.
and all the other associations, like flag football, softball, baseball, they understand the cost of maintenance. They were willing to pay some sort of fee, whether it's $1 a kid or whatnot. And I do want to say, this Frank I talked to with Dakota Alliance, he was kind of quite adamant at first, but he says, you can come back to us with a proposal, and he can run it up the flagpole. So I think maybe we decide something and then go back to him and he understood too, the cost of maintaining. He just says, we don't do it anywhere else, so it's gonna probably be a hard sell. He says, and what it might end up being is that if you have a Hartford address and you're registering, maybe it's something, they charge extra for that. And I said, well, I think that's what they're doing. Yeah, whatever it may be, so.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we need to talk about what we want to charge, and if we
Yeah.
want to charge something this year, next year, how we want that to look, and then go back to Dakota Alliance and like I said, see if they're on board, and if we can get them on board, we can talk to all the associations again. But we need to kind of figure out what we're looking at, though.
Yeah.
Because basically, that's what he said, come back with a proposal, and we'll talk about it.
We're probably too late this year for a lot of the places. The
The
spring
problem
ones
is,
are.
I think we maybe can get it narrowed down this year, so
Yeah.
then we can have it ready
Yeah,
for
I
next year
agree.
and start. Because,
Yeah, and give
like
them
I
a
said,
heads up.
baseball
Yeah.
and softball are
They're already
already
taking
got their
registrations,
registration,
yeah.
soccer too
Yep.
going, and if they're gonna charge like $1 a kid, $5 a kid, whatever they're, gonna charge them, they've already registered, so I
Right.
think it's hard
Yeah.
for them to go
To
back.
go back
and
and
get it.
forth, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then when we get it figured out at the end of the year or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then we can say, hey, this is what we're planning on next year,
Right.
so you can
And they
plan
can prepare
accordingly
for it,
Yeah.
and
For
figure
sure.
that in their registration and whatnot, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, so I think, we need to just continue the discussion and figure out
Yeah.
Yep.
what we want to do for maintenance fee and
And they can put it right in their signups that
Right,
Yeah.
fee's
exactly.
gonna go up next year.
Yeah,
Practice
yeah.
in Hartford.
Yep, just
government.
let you know, it's
Yep.
gonna cost X amount of dollars, we gotta pay for a maintenance fee and
Yep.
add that
Field
into.
improvements, yep.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
That's what it is. You want-
Yep.
yep.
Someone's gotta mow it, unless you have volunteers.
It's gotta
Yeah.
mow it, it's gotta get watered, it's gotta, yeah, it's gotta be striped, you have all those fun things, so.
Mhm.
yeah, So are we thinking, probably not this year, but trying to figure something
Yeah.
out in
I
next year?
think, yeah.
Because I would like to email all the associations back, because they're all wondering, are we doing
Yeah.
something this year or not?
Right.
But maybe I'll tell them that's kind of our plan of action.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to narrow it down some more this year, and we'll let you know by this fall
Yeah.
for preparation of
That sounds
next
good.
year.
Yep.
Sound
I think
good?
you just say, we spent $4,000 in ag and lime, spread across 285 games or whatever, that's tough. And you just say, here's the raw cost of
Yeah,
this material.
'cause we've got-
Oh, and
Yeah.
we did figure,
Yeah, we have the
had it
cost
all
figured
ironed
out.
No, I think
Yeah.
Last year it cost $35,000.
Yeah, and
for
just put that,
everything.
put that in there, you know, this is what we have to pay, so.
Yep, and when we met with them, yeah, we showed them the cost, I mean, nobody argued.
Yeah,
I mean, so they
yeah.
said, yep, we understand, so if you gotta charge us a little something, charge us. None of them want to pay a huge amount, I said,
Right.
yeah, I get it, we're not trying to recoup all their
Right.
costs, they are public fields, but, you know, it's something, because they get used too much, so.
Yep.
Okay, I will notify them, then. We'll work on it.
All right. Moving on to business advertising via signage.
I think we kind of had that one locked in the last meeting there, we decided,
We did. The only
Yeah.
question I had in my report is, okay, so now how do we want to advertise it? Are we just going to advertise it, hey, we got this available? Or are we going to some of the businesses and trying to solicit an advertisement? I mean, okay, we got the agreement in place, but now it's just sitting here,
Yeah.
so.
I wonder if the chamber would help on that.
We could probably, yeah, see if they would throw it out there to their membership.
Send out
Like
some
an email
email
or-
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the
Facebook post
membership
or
group, that's a
something
good
along
idea.
those lines.
Yeah, and just see,
If there's
Yeah.
anybody's interested.
yeah, I think that's a good place to start.
Yep.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I can,
because those are all local businesses, so.
Yeah.
yeah, and I would think you want local businesses. so.
Right.
So, yeah, I can send it off to the chamber and then have them distribute out to their membership. Yeah, is there any place else or thoughts on it?
We could probably advertise it the same way too, as we did the RFP.
RP, yep, I say, we'll definitely put it on our, website so they get access to it, Facebook, put it out there.
Yep, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Anything else on that? No?
Nope, we'll start with that.
Okay.
There we
Sounds
go,
good.
hopefully we get some people to advertise.
We'll move on to the 2025 budget items, update on cost estimates. Is this a loaded question?
Honestly, I've got a few prices together, but I've been studying for an exam, so I haven't had a
Okay.
lot of time to put into it, so.
We can move that to next, so just
Yeah.
updating that next month.
Yep, that'd be good, so, sorry about that.
No problem.
Sounds good. And then the next item is the city area plan and master plan update.
Yeah.
Thursday, we said, right?
Yep, so I just want you to know, so this Thursday, we're going to meet with ISG again, some members from the council. From this part, I think, Kandi, I don't know if it still works for you, and Frank, there you
Yep.
go. And if
Is
anybody
it
else
here?
wants to come, you certainly can.
Is it here?
It will be here.
Okay.
Yep. And we got a couple people, well, one for sure from planning and zoning, but it's to basically review kind of their preliminary report, which is kind of evaluate everything we have, kind of go over what national standards are, what other cities doing, and kind of, I think, the premise of this meeting is to get more input and thoughts and ideas of what we want to see in our parks, what we want to do with them, what we're lacking, what we need, how we want to move forward. So it's getting some more input from all the boards, the city, so.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
And then that kind of rolls right into the 1 to 5 master plan, right?
Yeah.
To kind of wait for that.
Yeah, Probably.
Yeah, we talked about last month, I think, waiting until we get that master plan so
Yep.
that we can kind of prioritize some of those items and kind of see the overall
Yep.
view.
I think that works.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Election of 2025 president.
So,
I guess anybody to whoever gets.
right now you keep it, so basically you call for any nominations and anybody on the board can nominate. Ryan and Craig cannot be an officer because they're non-voting members, but
Okay.
anybody can nominate one of your fellow members or yourself. If they're, so we need a motion and a second to nominate somebody. You call if there's any other nominations, and if there is, another motion second, and then you vote between the two. If there's only one nomination, basically, when you call for a second nomination, if there isn't any, we need a motion to basically cease nominations and cast a unanimous
Okay.
vote for whoever it is, so. This is your
So-
time to call for nominations.
We'll take a call for nominations.
Is it just us three here that can hold office then?
Nope, all five, you
all
five.
five.
The only ones
Yeah.
that can't is
Just
Ryan and
Ryan.
Craig, just Ryan and Craig can't.
Does it have to be 3 times nominations? That's for nominations 3 times before you can cease them?
You can, but if there's no nominee.
I nominate Tim.
I'll second the nomination.
For what?
Third, fourth, and fifth nomination.
Yeah.
So, did you second that, Duncan, or did Frank?
No.
Or did you, Frank? Okay.
So all in,
Is there, do we have a
So
So wait,
second?
We have a
Wendy,
second?
I'm sorry, just
Okay.
to get me up to speed, you've been president?
well, I've just been the interim meeting organizer. or-
Okay.
Our president went off at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Presidency was made?
Yes,
Yep.
at the end of the year,
Yep.
so we're,
It's been
Yes.
vacated for
We're
two.
in
yeah, and last month we didn't have all the positions filled, you were just
Right.
appointed, so we wanted to wait till this meeting to appoint, or to
Understood.
nominate the new president.
So you call if there's any other
Are there any
nominations.
other nominations?
I nominate Wendy.
Yeah, here we go.
He needs a second.
I'll second.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
And then we call for any other
Yep, and
nominations?
you call for any other ones, and, yep.
Well, who really would like to be secretary? Anybody? And we can nominate somebody.
Well, you don't vote on secretary. Whoever gets to be the president, they appoint a secretary.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So we're voting on the president and then the vice president after that, so.
Okay.
So we got 2 nominations for president.
So
Do you have any
we
more?
call for any more nominations.
I'll move that nomination cease.
Okay, we need a second for that?
Second, yes.
Second by Kandi. All right. So now we have
So
to do
take
a
a vote
vote.
on the first nomination,
Okay, we need a vote on the first nomination,
so
which
which was
is
for
Tim.
Tim. Yep.
So we just go around.
So you're either voting for Tim or Wendy, but not
Yeah.
both,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yep. Right?
Is there any, do we have
We could do-
discussion on this? Or is there any- Tim,
Like, how do
Tim,
you
Wendy, who
feel
wants
about
this
it?
position?
Both of you, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with whatever. We could probably do like president, vice president, however you want to do it. It's, I want to put for whatever, and then figure out.
We're all very new, so I
Yeah.
feel like, I don't know.
So, anyway, all in favor for Tim as president, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, I guess there we go.
Congrats, Tim.
Well, thank you.
Congrats, Tim. Congrats,
All
President.
right. All right, and then, so can we nominate Wendy as vice president now, or is that just?
Yes, yeah, now you go into vice president.
And now you take over from what I.
All right, very
Yes,
good.
sorry.
I'd like to nominate Wendy as the vice president.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we have
I assume there was no other
Yeah.
nominations.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna.
Any nays? No, so unanimous, we vote Wendy in as vice president.
Nice. Congratulations, guys.
Notes, or like, are you, right, or who's taking notes on, or is Tim taking, who's taking notes on this stuff?
I got it written down.
You
Okay.
do, okay.
So we had the nomination, Tim nominated Wendy for vice, Frank seconded. I need a motion for somebody to cease nominations and cast a unanimous vote. So if I can have
Oh,
a.
I'll do that motion to cease nominations.
I'll second.
And you'll second, Duncan, okay. Okay, and everybody was an all yes?
Yep.
Unanimous.
Okay, I think we got our president and vice.
All right,
Thank you guys for stepping up.
Would anybody really like to be a secretary? Candy, I know you were, I don't
I
know if
don't
you
know
want
that
to
I
do it
know.
again.
Kind of secretaried out, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Okay, very good. I will put a motion to make you the secretary.
So
Just
He's
appoint,
gonna
right?
appoint Frank,
Oh,
you guys
okay.
vote on the appointment.
All right, I will appoint Frank as the secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Okay, I'm
unanimous.
gonna correct you one more time, sorry.
Yeah, that's
I know
fine.
this
I
is
don't
all
know.
new to you guys.
Yeah.
So you did appointments, so do we have somebody from the group that's gonna approve the appointment or make a motion to approve the appointment and then
Okay.
a second, and then you vote?
Oh, okay, I'll make a motion to approve
I'll second.
Frank as the secretary.
Okay, so we got a motion to approve the appointment, everybody votes on the appointment.
All right, perfect. I'm glad you know this.
One at a time? You're supposed to do it one at a time? I don't know, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we all yeses?
Oh,
or is
yes,
there any
yes,
no's?
yes,
Okay, I know
yes.
everybody's a yes, okay.
Yep.
We are good.
Ryan
Okay, we got through that.
Okay. Get
Oh,
through our-
no, I'm just shaking my head because.
Rookies.
Literally, the election and appointment, it always has like 3 motions to it.
Right.
Yeah.
It is,
just
it's kind
pain in
of
the butt.
a,
This
Yeah.
parliamentary procedure.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes
it is.
no
It's kind of
sense,
a
like,
pain.
just like, all right, we want Tim, move on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work that way.
yes.
Okay, so we can continue on with bullet point 8 here, other items. So a review of the agenda items for the March meeting.
Assume we want to put the budget on again, and hopefully we can get some figures. Give us more time and discuss the park plan. Well, I should have an update. on that.
Yeah, we should have some feedback from that
The park plan
park
is
plan stuff.
probably what we're all most interested in seeing, right?
Mhm, Yep.
Now Craig will be there, right? So will that be part
For
of
the park
his
plan, yes.
Oh, good,
update,
okay.
progress?
For the city too.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll put it on the agenda too. so get it.
All right. Anything else we are looking
The
for?
Swenson Park will want, or the
Yeah.
RFP, we'll want that on there, probably,
Yep.
and the maintenance charges. We want to start discussing that cost for
Yep.
next year.
And I assume we'll just keep the CIP on there so we keep
Mhm.
that active for every meeting.
Yep.
Would you mind including like what we, the costs, that breakdown again, or do we just have, look back into our notes to see what that was for the costs of the maintenance costs of the,
Oh, yeah, I can include that. Yep. Yep, I'll put that in my notes when we
yeah,
talk
because then we can
about
look
the
at
maintenance
that when we're
costs
looking
again.
at
Yep,
kind of what we're thinking.
yep. I'll put that breakdown in again so you have that information.
Oh, I think that's probably all
Right, and then Duncan and Frank, I know I talked to Frank about this, but the last page in the handout here is gonna be kind of a rolling list of the top things that we're thinking we want. And this, again, has kind of just been spitballing, so that's where the master plan is, we're hoping to guide us a little bit better and maybe we can put things on. But I would encourage you to take this home and kind of go through it and maybe highlight what you think should be at the top of the list. And then if you have any things that aren't on this list, to write them in. make us aware of them so we can kind of all brainstorm and try to make a hierarchy and prioritize what we're looking at. And then, obviously, like I said, we want to roll that in with the master plan too, so see if our list and the master plan list are matching up and kind of give us some low-hanging fruit to attack there.
Yeah.
So right now, as the new guy, would you say, I mean, I, like the pool, is that kind of a priority to get that?
Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing everybody says when they first jump on this
Yeah.
board. The reality of the pool is that we are not gonna be able to do that in our board. It's gonna take a bond issue, it's gonna take large outside funding, it's
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
take grants, and it would be great if we had the ability to do something like that. But in the end, our role is an advisory committee to the city council. Basically, they're busy and they don't want to be bogged down with this. And we just say, hey, after we've done this all year long, this is what we would advise you guys to spend your money on. So, we have no real power.
Yeah.
We
And
are,
then, like, when
we
this-
are a think tank for
Yeah.
them, so.
And when the city does decide and makes a commitment that they want to make it a priority, then we could probably step in and help and get then we
Yep.
could probably help them and take
Lay
some
out
of
Exactly.
the,
what's to put in it.
yeah,
And that's-
and
yeah.
take some of,
that kind of
and
stuff.
get ideas and kind of
Focus group
filter
is
that
to go
up
after
through them.
what agencies
Right.
out there.
Mhm, Yep,
Exactly, kind of looking and see, where the majority of the time is spent in the pool,
Yeah.
We can all figure stuff like that and make sure that a pool is built to fit the needs, not just to, look cool or whatever.
Right.
Were you gonna look up what some of the local communities have paid for pools?
Yeah.
We've had that in the past, yeah, I can get some information.
Yeah, it's been a
5
while.
to 7
It-
million?
it's been a
I think
while.
it's north of
Probably
10.
close to
Oh,
10
I
million.
think it's.
Probably around
oh,
10 million
I
is
think
what I
it's-
think it
yeah,
would be
I think
nowadays.
for what we would need, it's gonna be like 15 million.
Yeah,
bet.
I would anticipate by the time we get there, the
Oh,
number we
fif-
should look at is
up-
20.
Yeah, yeah, I do too. Yep, because I think right now, if we did it right now, I would guess it would probably be 15 million. Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy what pool.
We-
I mean,
we-
it all, of course, depends on how big you make
Yeah.
and what you want to offer and whatnot. I
Yeah,
mean, it all goes
construction
back.
pri- price-
We're
Prices
kind
are
of
just
building a
going
few pools
through.
over across the interstate right now.
There you go. One big one.
This one is not-
Or Turtle Creek when it floods.
Yeah, so. It's kind of a monster.
I don't think we've ever passed a bond issue for the schools.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
When
I-
Gosman was here, that was like 8 or 12 million. wasn't it?
Yeah, that was quite a bit. Sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, and the cost estimates, I don't even, unless they did them very recently, I don't know how, kind of, they're gonna be so outdated.
Like I said,
Because
that-
we did that way back
So
when.
that was
and-
prior COVID
Yeah.
and everything.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
you know,
the
so-
costs have gone up
And
so
it's
much, like, and just in the last few years, that,
No.
unless they did one in the last few years, I don't think it'd be something you could rely on.
No,
I mean,
no,
the price
I
of-
don't think our previous estimates we could rely on.
No, I don't
Maybe
think
we
so
have-
either.
The price of labor and the price of concrete as a raw material, have
Yeah.
both gone up tremendously,
Yeah,
so.
yep, yeah,
It's
so.
the City of Canton's the most recent project that did, and that finished last summer, I think.
They did do a pool last summer.
Yeah, scaled it way down when they first.
Yeah, I
That
bet.
that was the whole, trying to municipalize the garbage service to pay for it,
Uh-huh.
that whole issue. And before that was Elk Point, Beersford, Lennox.
I think Pier
That was
just,
last-
Pier did one too, not too long ago.
Was that-
Pier.
Correct. Those are the- these are the
Piers
last-
is
the
almost
last ones
25
I saw.
million.
Oh, wow.
How did they pay
Theirs
for
is
them or fund
deluxe,
them?
I believe they did bond them.
Bonded them?
The,
Uh-huh.
the reality is just like schools, right? When one comes and we do get to a position of a
I showed up for
bond,
that.
we have to encourage everybody to pass the first bond, because inevitably, we're gonna end up cutting and cutting and cutting and having a lesser pool for the same price if we
Yeah.
don't pass it right away.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better, but it's outside the scope of what we have here. so-
Yes, 100%.
By.
Selling beer at the park isn't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
So with this list, this was the spitball list, sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around, this is the new guy.
Yep.
They're new to that area, but this is the spitball list, right?
Yeah,
Is there
Once you
anything?
get 26 and beyond.
yeah, so
Yep.
the
20
first 6 or 7 items there are happening this year.
Yeah, they're,
25 is-
They have
they're in
budget.
our budget.
They're in the budget.
Yeah.
So everything 8 through 23, and then if there's any other
Well,
things.
part of it, number 5's not in the budget, but
Yeah.
it shows you.
And then we're hoping that the overall plan will help us with some additional ideas, you
Yeah.
know, and then also if you have any other ideas, we can add those as well.
We did do a survey last year out there to just general public to see, you know,
Right.
what would you like to see or whatnot. I will include that with the next packet so you guys can.
Oh,
take
yeah,
a look.
that'd
I
be
kind of
great.
forgot.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be helpful
Yeah.
information for you. They were able to, you know, see what they'd like to see here, what they, you
Yeah,
know,
the-
they think we're lacking here and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'll include that survey too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, that would be helpful for you.
So they call people up, or did they catch them at Jamboree Days, or how did
So we put it out there and it's, you know,
London
scan
meetings.
the code and we come up with a list of what was about 10 questions, you know, and then a spot where they can put in comments or whatnot. Actually, I was surprised, we got a pretty good response.
Oh,
Because most
really?
surveys, you don't
Yeah,
get
oh,
very
that's
good. I
good
thought we
then.
That's
did,
good.
got a pretty good
Is there a link
response.
in the newsletter too?
Yep, there was a link in the newsletter, we put it
Right.
on the website and put it out on Facebook, we tried to, yeah, like I said, put it in the newsletter, so, yeah, so I'll include the results of that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So Tim, for Duncan and Frank and them, we'll be doing budget for the city in July. Basically, we want our budget to bring to the city. So we'll be looking at this list thinking, what's our priority for the following year, for 2026? Put that together, get numbers for it, and everything like that, and put that together and then go for a request to the council and ask for this much money to be set aside for budget for park improvements.
The actual budget is for the calendar year, though, but you're doing the budgeting in
We,
July.
we do it in July, so the council has it in August, so that they can go over it and approve it and have it done. Has to be done by the first weekend in September or
So
last
we have
week.
October 1st to the county, and we gotta go through 2 readings, so we have to have it done by September.
Yeah, so we usually
So-
get it into
so-
them early.
This group kind of needs to have it done by July, because I have to take that information and figure it into the budget that I present to the city council, so.
And that'll be for 2026, January for
Fiscal.
Yep.
Yep, yeah, and then it runs January to December, yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy really, because we've got 6 months to think about what we're gonna do next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's, you know.
Sneaks up quick.
Seems like that's really early, but I mean, that's, you know, that's the way it works, so.
Did ISG have a timeline of how quickly they could get a plan back to us after the meeting? Or do we not know
So this
that?
is just meeting number 2. The
This-
plan, I
okay.
don't think is gonna come back till later this summer, the actual full plan
Okay.
of it,
So
yeah.
our 26 budget will
Not have much of that.
Yeah.
will not have, yeah.
No, yeah, so, and depending on what they come up, I mean, I think the CIP, you got a good idea of going into next year, what
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
do.
for sure.
Some bike
And
trails, maybe.
that park
Yeah.
plan would be really useful for future
Future,
years, but
yeah.
I think, yeah, you're.
How far is Oaks continuing to the north of the water tower and that's it?
It goes all the way up to, back to the Western Avenue.
It kind of curves back.
There's no connection between Oaks and Swenson?
No,
Or-
there's not.
or-
No, the Development Corporation own that land.
Okay.
We did get a land set aside for a future trail to go up to the sports complex.
Because we paid for
Yeah.
That is locked in.
Yeah, I wanted just to be a driveway.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't
South
know
of
that.
that being the shit that would connect to
They
it.
said a lot of it would depend on who buys the property up there if they
Well,
want.
it's kind of wet back in there.
Yeah.
How that water tower goes.
Sports complexes in Swenson.
Yeah, yep.
That seems to be the
Trying to
focus.
get golf carts there.
That seems to be the focus.
That might be
And
one thing
there's a lot of goes
we
there.
want to talk about. We had talked about doing kind of a little tour.
Swenson Park is a
Do we
big
wanna think about that for
undertaking.
next
Yeah,
meeting?
And everything you do out there is incredibly
Or
expensive.
a different date, I mean, I
So
don't
you
know.
have to ask for a lot of money every year. Like, for example, this year, just to get parking unpaved, it was $215,000 to just gravel, right? So, it's like, we have this facility, but and we've built it up now, but it's inaccessible, so now we gotta make it accessible, and then it's like, you have to take everything in little steps. But also, when I proposed this budget, there's a couple of members on the council that were, quite frankly, just kinda sick of putting money into Swenson Park too. So, There's a little bit of educating, like, hey, it's a $10 million thing if you do it all at once, and we're doing it in little steps. So yeah, you do ask every single year to make it complete, you know, that's true, but, I do get the feeling that they're getting a little sick of hearing about it too, so if you have other ideas.
Is it fair to say, would Swenson Park probably should be a priority, just because it's the newest? I mean, the population's growing, there's more activities and all the sports. And
We'll find out more on Thursday.
Yeah.
You should find out. Should that be a priority or not?
ISG is coming in and they're trying
This
to help
Thursday?
us develop.
Yeah, anyone can go if you would like to go. It's
I think we
5
could
to
always have
7
more fields for
here on
everything.
this
yeah.
coming Thursday.
Soccer and
Because
everything.
scheduling Humboldt is tapped out.
I'd
not
make a
sure-
meeting
I'm
for
not sure what
Florida.
time-
And how many fields do they have now? They got 10?
No.
No?
They've got 4 plus the town team field, and 5 if you count an unmowed elementary school playground that had mowed it all last summer. I almost brought the mower over to the.
Really?
Yeah.
They could have left
There's
the
just-
keys in the code of the garage.
I drive out there and I see
Yeah.
this growth and development
But
of new
they've got,
things.
we've
Yeah.
got enough,
Okay.
the
What were
need
you,
for practice time for 8 fields.
Mhm.
what were you
So
saying
at our-
about a tour, Teresa?
Well, last meeting we were talking about, and you weren't here at last meeting, Candy, and you weren't either, Duncan, but possibly this board going, maybe driving around to the different facilities, like Swenson Park, the city park.
Perfect.
Get a good idea of what we have, what we don't have,
Yeah,
and just kind of,
That would be great.
before we go into budget and everything, have a, yeah. It kind of puts it more in perspective, where you can see it, to see, yeah, you know, what we can do at the different places. So we kind of touched on it last meeting, but
Would we want to meet earlier?
that's what I
then?
say, do we want to eat it out earlier
Because otherwise,
and do
I
that
think
and
it's
come
gonna
back?
be dark.
Well, daylight savings time's coming up.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
right.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, yay.
So it'll be light till 8 o'clock.
Oh, good, okay,
But we
well,
kind of got to keep this meeting at 6:30 because it is a public
So-
meeting, so we either
Yeah.
have to do it probably before or after.
That'd be great.
So
I
that
think we met here at 5:30.
I say, can we,
We'd have plenty of time.
everybody 5:30 work?
yeah.
And then we could, you know, kind of do just a quick
Yeah.
little tour in an hour and get back here at 6:30?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a,
Perfect.
yeah, that would be good.
And then to answer your question more as far as focusing on Swenson, I think it is a good focus, but also, I think, you know, like Turtle Creek Park, or not Turtle Creek Park, Turtle Creek, housing development, you know, houses up there, and now the school owns land up there, and we gotta start thinking about, if the school goes there, there's gonna be a lot of houses there and no park, so we gotta kind of
Yep.
plan
Just
for the
think
future.
for
a
the
little bit,
overall
stuff like
city.
that, Yeah.
And that's what this, thing with ISG and this park plan, they're gonna point out areas where this would be a good spot for micro park in the future. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, this far out, we're gonna have to have a full-scale park over here, and just kind of open, so.
here's where we need bike trails for the connection. It's going to help identify those areas.
And if you ever spend time in Harrisburg, they do a pretty good job at that, of having like just smaller parks every so far, and they're nice, like, you know, playground equipment,
Yeah.
and then they have, you know, their main park, and that's.
Memorial Middle School in Northwest Sioux Falls has a city park attached to their co-op with their playground,
Oh, yeah.
community garden and what have you. So I was kind of surprised to see,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think
that's another thing, you know,
Done
is-
that a couple, 3 other schools.
where it's a giant
Nice.
playground with soccer field, basketball court, and just open fences.
when I take my kids to the park, you know, it's a block one way or the other if they wanna play at the school park or the city park, and it's been like that as long as I've been around, you know, it's like the school park has always been a park option, so.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to, that'd help,
I think that's-
be very helpful for me.
I think everybody, it helps when you can
Wendy,
actually
did you
see
add the ice
stuff.
hockey rink just for me?
Yeah, I did.
Just do that just for me. Wow. I laughed when I showed that to Tanya, said, see?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen that thing filled up once.
You know, Olympic level hockey with the current treatment.
I didn't get to it. Yeah, that was
Maybe
crazy.
we could get the same RFP to serve hot chocolate and then skates there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We had hot chocolate for a couple of weeks, it went over very well.
Maybe we just split Turtle Creek on one.
Yeah.
All right, well, with all that said, I think, is there anything else anybody has they want to chat about? Yeah, we can adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn if anybody wants to second.
Second.
All right, and then after this, we have a new photo for the city with our new members and our new shirts. So,
Nice.
I'm saying, what did I just say? Meeting adjourned?
Let's take a vote
Oh.
on adjourning.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Adjourned.
Gavel down.
Good night.
Good job.